Hi guys, what's up? Today we have this big question if handheld console games like this one, my beloved Nintendo DS Lite, worth it still in 2020 or nowadays in any case. And before I get into more details over this little review for those machines or this particular one, I would say absolutely. I like it. I think it's worth buying one, even if you don't have one, or try to find it if you have it already stashed somewhere for years. And why do I believe so? Well, practically for me, it is something that it keeps me company, and I like to play every once in a while whenever I have the chance. Every chance I have, waiting at the airport or at the dentist's, really, no kidding, I have it with me. I gotta play some games and relax a bit. The machine is really a machine that gives you the ability to twist it somehow so you can have multiple games and not the one that is in the cartridge, like this one. I have put in the Kung Fu Panda cartridge so you can see, or you can remember how it looks like on both screens. The gameplay is fantastic, the graphics are great, even though the resolution was just 256 by 192 pixels, but still the graphics are great. You have the pen, the stylus to play at the screen on the bottom, where you can move your hero, the objects, and you can do whatever you like, and have this wonderful sense of gameplay, while at the same time several other information can be shared. You can save the game, you can put your name on it, you can save personal data onto the machine, your birthday or whatever that is, and to be honest, these days you can find those cartridges over the internet as second-hand used ones, very cheap. Those are the cartridges. The backside, this slot holds the game. So this is the little cartridge that gives you all this excitement. There is another slot at the front panel of the machine where you can put GBA games, but before we go there, I'd like to show you this one. This is another cartridge, which is a smart cartridge, a smart card, which holds another card, an SD card at the back, and this is something that makes the whole difference, and that's why I support the idea of getting the DS Lite, or you can have it back, bring it back to action, if you will, if you have it somewhere at home. So this one, this little SD card can be up to 32 gigabytes, not more, otherwise the machine cannot recognize it. And this card has some special firmware. It's called, by the way, M3 DS Real, which with this special firmware you can play the games that have been copied onto the SD card, and those games can be, trust me, hundreds, because of the capacity of the SD card, and depending on the capacity of the SD card. If you have like 16 gigabytes of an SD card in there, you can have like hundreds of games, 150, 200 games maybe, or more. If you have a 32 gigabyte of SD card in there, you can have probably 300 games, 350 games or more. So you go into this menu, select the games folder, and the fun begins. You can see the games listed. Let me go back to this. So you can see I have copied several games, known games, adventure games, some unknown games, not very popular, but some educational, like foreign languages, some other applications / games for making music, some adventure games, arcade games, you name it, everything is here. So this is the good thing about this console, and the ability that gives you to work over this smart card, the M3. So you probably you can understand that this card bypasses the machine's firmware, so in such a way that the card takes over, and this card reads whatever is inside the other card, the SD card, and according to the folder structure and whatever you have placed in there, you can have movies, you can have MP3 music, you can have games, of course, hundreds of games, and some other applications like book readers, or PDA functionality, so you can keep your calendar notes, you can keep alarms, you name it. So it's pretty flexible and pretty interesting. As you can see, we have reached the bottom of this particular folder. You can create several folders, but under some special names, so that can be recognized, and those will be NDS folders. Now let's go to media folder, which is right there, and select the media files that you can see the structure and what we have placed onto this special menu. So you can see books, movies, music, NDS1, NDS3, NDS folder which holds the games, GBA for Game Boy Advance games, you name it. You can pictures, whatever. Let's go over some movie so you can see how it looks like. It's not the greatest experience like cinema mode or anything, but you can have fun with some movies while waiting somewhere, or yeah, at home. Again, the picture gives you 256 by 192 pixels, which is pretty decent. Remember, this model DS Lite came to the markets back in 2006, and it runs on a 67 megahertz ARM processor, which is really good, and it has poor 4 megabytes of SRAM, which is good enough for all the game fun that you need, and has absolutely the perfect sense of a Nintendo product, because that's the main difference, and that's the main point when it comes to gameplay and games, or movies, or applications, little applications like the PDA, for example, that you can work with this machine. Everybody says that you can do it, yeah, with your mobile phone. Well, the sense is not the same. This is a Nintendo sense of things, the Nintendo way, and it's absolutely not the same, cannot be compared to any Android machine, for me at least, and this is what I had to share here with you today. So for me, it's absolutely worth to have or to buy or to try to locate your old DS around the house, probably, and bring it back to life, or carry it with you. You're gonna have lots of fun. And if you don't have one of these special cards like this M3, you can find it around eBay or anywhere around the web, over the web, and you can copy onto this card music, videos, applications, and of course games. One thing that is interesting is that you can only have 128 games into a single folder. Otherwise the machine cannot read beyond that point, and you might lose the icons on the side, you might lose descriptions, or you might lose the whole game's not gonna be visible onto the directory at all. So all you have to do is to split the games to several folders under the name of NDS. For example, could be NDS which holds 128 games, another folder which called NDS1 which holds another bunch of 128 games, NDS2 another folder that holds another bunch of 128 games. So imagine that you can have 300 or more 360 games onto a single SD card, among with other things, applications, movies, your favorite movies, or songs, MP3 songs, or little other applications like book readers and stuff, into this little card. And this console will never betray you. It will keep playing and give you fun wherever you are, because it's pocket size, because it's light, and it has this Wi-Fi ability. If you combine this machine to a DS browser, you can get connected to the internet. And of course, again, let's go back to step one: continue to play games. It's all about games after all. One other thing we would like to point out here is that after the successful launch of the DS Lite, it was another machine that came to dominate the market. So that was DSi, which actually has just 4 millimeters of bigger screen, for both screens that is, has a better processor running at 133 megahertz, and it has 16 megabytes of RAM. It also has a couple of cameras, so you can have your own pictures, selfies, or share moments with the external cameras, record your sounds, and do all that stuff. Another thing we should say about both of the system is that the batteries are reliable, can last long. Here is the SD card, something that the DS Lite doesn't have. So both batteries can last for long gameplays. Slightly better is the battery of the DSi. Now getting back to, as you can see, there is no GBA port onto the DSi console. The GBA port here on the DSi Lite can give you the ability to put multiple peripherals, like this rumble pack here, which vibrates. Several games give you this vibration feeling, while playing. And switch it off now to put the original GBA Game Boy Advanced cartridge inside. I guess it's the other way. Yeah, let me put it there. Once you have the Game Boy Advance cartridge in, you have to remove the M3 card or whatever multiple card you have, multifunction card you have at the back, because this, as we said before, it bypasses the operating system of the machine. So we have to remove the multifunction card from the back and reboot it again in order to put to the standard DS menu and select the port that holds in this case Pokemon into the GBA port. So let's start it by touching, and you can see the Game Boy Advance cartridge comes up. And this is another great thing with DS Lite. You have all the flexibility that you need. You can play regular cartridges, regular games for DS that you can find out in the markets for peanuts, and also GBA Game Boy Advanced cartridges inserted into this other slot, and yeah, you can play around, and you can have multiple versions, multiple cartridges for the very same machine. And at the same time you have the chance to put extra memory that is needed for the browser or the Rumble Pack or whatever other peripheral that you might need. So we have GBA, we have regular game, we have multifunction SD card plus the operating system card for adding more and more games like this one here, the M3. We have accessories like the Rumble Pack here. We have everything that we need. So that was all for today. I guess yeah, it's up to you if you're gonna use it, if you're gonna buy it, but to me it's certainly worth it. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.